Hi there, I'm Rachel from West Berks Training, and I'm going to give you an overview of the Teaching Assistant Apprenticeship Standard. We'll cover the benefits of training staff, why you may work with WBTC, the training that's involved, what's the content of the Teaching Assistant Apprenticeship Standard, the responsibilities of you as the employer, how you pay for the qualification, and workshops that we offer to our employers, and what you need to do next. And that's me. So investing in your team is key. This can help with retention, and the offer of an apprenticeship qualification is often incorporated into something like an appraisal process. It can be used to upskill existing members of the team, so people already recruited, whether it's in that role or a different role within the setting. And also you can recruit into apprenticeship roles, which we can support you with. It's key to demonstrate to Ofsted that obviously staff have the most relevant up-to-date qualifications, and this is part of your team's CDP. We can support the school very much on an individual basis. So it's looking to see what the school, what the apprentice needs to make sure we can put that in place to ensure success. And when you work with WBTC, it is really about that relationship right from the start of giving advice and guidance through to completion of the qualification and beyond that. Schools, businesses work with us for a number of reasons. We've been established for nearly 40 years, so we have a wealth of experience amongst the team in delivering apprenticeships and training. The Teaching Assistant Apprenticeship Standard, and previous to that, the framework, has been really successful. We're a preferred supplier for a number of local authorities and also academies. We ensure that that personalised support is in place, and that's personal to, like I said, the school, but also looking at the apprentice, so understanding from the start their requirements to put in place the tools for them to be successful. We have high achievement rates, and that is across the board. So that could be looking at employer satisfaction surveys. It could be looking at success rates, timely achievements, progression. So certainly within the local area, we absolutely exceed everybody else's results. And on a national basis, we always have higher achievement rates than the government's minimum standards and their outcomes. Our relationship management is superb, which is shown through our employer satisfaction survey. This is really key to understanding your requirements and making sure that we give you the support for the team to succeed. So the training, and the key for this, probably from the apprentice's perspective, is that they will achieve the diploma that's included within the standard and supporting teaching and learning. This is the part that most of them are most interested in achieving, but around that we ensure they're given the knowledge, skills and behaviours for success. That could be delivered through, generally we'll offer blended learning. Obviously with COVID things are slightly different, but through blended learning it will be some online resources, some one-to-ones, but the main delivery will be actually in the workplace, so that's with an assessor coming to the school. We ensure regular reviews are in place. So again, depending on the apprentice's need, but generally every 4 to 6 weeks, there will be one-to-one visit to look at progress and deal with any questions and queries. But in addition to this, they're having the training outside of that. Functional skills if required. So for anybody to succeed in the standard, they have to have already achieved their maths and English grade C or 4 or equivalent at GCSE. For those who haven't achieved this, they would work at this as part of the programme. Functional skills is generally offered remotely in a small classroom situation, but equally, if necessary, we can do a one-to-one. It very much depends upon that learner. All apprentices work towards an endpoint assessment, which I'll go into a little bit more detail later. The key to all of this is that they must have time for this off-the-job and on-the-job training. So whether the assessor is coming into the school to deliver a session on safeguarding, or whether it's looking at supporting difficult situations in the classroom, they must be able to attend these sessions. And in addition to this, they must have time to complete the other work that's been set within their working week. The teaching assistant apprenticeship is generic, so it works with primary, secondary, in special education needs, whether it's on a one-to-one. It's absolutely works across the board, which has been really positive feedback that we've had. The programme that we offer is roll on, roll off, so they can join at any time. What we tend to do is try to gather a small cohort so they feel that they have support from colleagues as well as WBTC, and they could be from a different school, different setting, but generally speaking, we will try to join a cohort at the same time. That said, we would obviously look at an individual's situation if somebody approaches us just after a cohort started. So the assessment method at the end, so this is the endpoint assessment which they have to complete. They will have been on programme for around about 15 months. This is called on-programme learning. This is government terminology, during which they'll work towards achieving their knowledge, skills and behaviours. And as I mentioned before, that will be through visits by an assessor, observation, work that's set on Accordia, which is our e-portfolio. All the way through, we will be reviewing, looking to ensure that they've met their milestones and they're on programme to succeed in a timely manner. Any feedback will be given to their mentors or to the school as requested so that you know where they are. Every quarter, we would ask the school to support, which I'll go into a little bit more later in a more sort of formal discussion. And then they hit something called the gateway, which is a conversation, a meeting between apprentice, mentor, and the training consultant to ensure that they are ready to enter the gateway, which basically means that we submit them for endpoint assessment. This would be a practical observation. So in their workplace in a natural setting, you will have an assessor, not from WBTC, who would come in and observe, looking to ensure that they've obviously hit those key skills. There would be a professional discussion and a portfolio of evidence. Portfolio of evidence is likely to be around about 15 pieces of work, what we'd previously call coursework, and the professional discussion tends to follow this to ensure that they can go into more detail about anything they've observed or anything they've read, and to fill in maybe any gaps of learning that they have a concern about. The programme should take 18 months, and that's the on-programme learning and then the time to complete the assessment. It is suitable for full and part-time staff. However, looking at the commitment that is required, excuse me, and the ongoing learning, the training in the workplace, we would generally say the minimum hours would need to be 18 hours a week that the candidate is working to be considered for this, but do talk to us. Your responsibilities as an employer are to ensure that they have got time in their working week to complete this. We would always suggest having a one-to-one line manager available. Again, we would talk to you about providing support for them. All mentors are offered and we encourage them to do a half-day workshop with us, free of charge, and that ensures that they've got the tools to complete the job. We would ask their mentor or somebody from the school to attend at least a quarterly review meeting, although you would get copies of every single meeting that they have so that you can see that they are working, they're where they should be, they're attending, and they've not come across any obstacles. But we would be talking to you on a regular basis to make sure that they're online to achieve. You would have a WBTC training consultant as well as the assessor, so you've got 2 points of contact. The WBTC training consultant pulls all this together, ensuring that all parties are given feedback and you know exactly what's going on. To pay for this qualification, the majority of educational settings pay the Apprenticeship Levy, so this is where you are taxed by the government at source if your annual payroll is over 3 million. The funds that go into your levy pot have to be used for apprenticeships, so we would withdraw money from this pot to pay for this qualification. We have some, mainly academies, who just tip over into the levy pot, and in that situation we've worked with them to find other employers we work with. For example, we have a local housing association who has excess money in their levy account, and they transfer some of those funds to this academy to help pay for their team to get trained. As I mentioned earlier, this could be used to upskill existing members of staff, whether they're in this role currently or moving into this role, or you can use this to recruit. If it's an existing member of staff, they would need to stay on the same salary that they were already employed at. For recruiting a teaching assistant apprenticeship, you can look to pay the apprentice a different wage, and I can give advice and guidance on that. All of the employers we work with become members of WBTC. This gives you access to a wide range of workshops. These are free of charge, and these are available for anybody within the school. So they may be somebody involved in the apprentice's journey, they may be wholly unconnected and work in a different team, or maybe they work in the junior school and the apprentices in early years. This series of workshops are all about supporting you. Could be anything from somebody who's taking over managing the English curriculum, who needs some support on coaching and mentoring the team. right the way through to somebody who's newly recruited who'd like to do health and safety. So these are very much part of our value-added service that we offer. Prior to COVID, we ran enrichment activities, again for the apprentices at no charge, and this could be anything from trip to the Houses of Parliament to see what goes on behind the scenes, to something more physical, like canoeing down the River Wye. It's all about offering different experiences for the apprentices. If you'd like more information, do get in touch with me. It can be just basic information you require to talk about salaries, how the Apprenticeship Levy works, or if you're looking at upskilling the team or recruiting into different roles outside of teaching assistant, do give us a call. Or email me on rachel@wbtc-uk.com. If you're part of a local authority, you may need to speak to your HR team, who will contact me, and then I'll come back to you. Thank you very much for your time today.